In the third part we examine the pre-existing political, social, and economic systems. As you remember, all anarchic animal-type systems are unstable and does not contribute to the accumulation of global knowledge. All zombie systems like communism hamper personal growth that inhibits the development of entire civilization. In capitalism and similar to its systems, the main decisions are made by a mediocre people in power ignoring social responsibilities. Now this demonic elite propels a microchip slavery called a uniocracy, a singularity of all human minds that actually kills an initiative for personal development. So, it is time to discuss the new, better, probably, an ideal society system. We have seen a political growth, we have seen a social growth, we have seen an economic growth, we see which way leads us a technological growth. As it follows, the next socio-political and economic system should be built and focus on human growth, that will maximally enrich potential of every individual and the system itself. Let's watch an abstract of interview of a Russian psychoneurolinguist, PhD of physiology, head of laboratory for cognitive studies in St. Petersburg State University, the expert in the field of artificial intelligence, a human, Tatiana Chernigovskaya.
The role of the humanitarian knowledge does not only decrease, but it rapidly grows now. And until human, I mean society, does not understand that, we are getting closer and closer to the real danger. If we infinitely deal with the tests and tick boxes, we will not figure out where we are going. The responsibility of people who do that kind of development is huge. For this they need to be educated on Shakespeare, on Tolstoy, you know. They should listen to the right music. They should be mannered as humans, rather than the ability to count on a typewriter. The machine itself is able to do it, we do not need. I do not need to know the Newton's binomial theorem that I have never met in my life. If I have to meet it, I will find it via Google in 4 seconds. But if I have not read serious literature, it means I am not used to think. Here is important. What currently I am saying all the time. Arts, literature, and humanitarian knowledge in general does not a dessert. It is not that you have eaten a steak, and you can eat a mange or cannot to eat. It is not entertainment, it is shaping your world, the formation of consciousness, the formation of personality, the formation of the responsibility. This is what it is. Therefore, when some kind of digest from War and Peace, or Hamlet in pictures were shoved to children in modern schools, I'm not saying in Russia, it is everywhere, what task do they decide? To make a child know the content of Hamlet or what? What problem are we solving? It is possible to perceive Dostoevsky well, it is a detective as a detective, who gets killed, and who does not. Wait, the task is different, we got confused, this is what I mean. So, if humanitarian knowledge will disappear from the general system of education, it is not about that these people are poorly educated. It is on the subject that generally they are not people, probably, they are not educated as people, in terms of their inner world, relationships, responsibility. This is what do I mean.
Humanity as a project can end.
Yes, what otherwise to live for?
And finally, what you may wish and recommend to our viewers.
I would suggest, first, to reread Gogol, because it is a pleasure, which is difficult with something to compare, but not with ideas to know how it ended, because we all know from school, you do not need to reread it, savoring like a fine wine, savoring every word, every turn. You remember, perhaps, when Nose began its separate life, and the hero comes to the bridge, he looks down, he looks for the nose. Looks down, and there is an amazing phrase, it is striking me for many years, how many fish running in the water? Well, only a genius can say this thing. And that is the kind of scattered diamonds in this literature. Or consider Brodsky. Brodsky wrote, it is our species' purpose. Simple things can be done by a machine, it is a billion times faster than we do. We just do not need to do it. We are a special kind of knowledge, machines do not see the world as a poet. So we have to take these diamonds from poets, at least to enjoy what is ready. If I do not know how to do it, at least I will have a look how does Faberge make it.
Despite differences in culture and background, to the same conclusion comes a lot of people. For instance, Frederick Laloux, who asserts that the current, organizational, paradigm should be based on a self-developing independent humans. If we follow the advice of libertarian socialists, i.e. get rid of government, then at the end of the day, our system, indeed, will become sort of anarchic again. As you remember, every human starts from the animal stage. So, we need a system with a leader who will be the best of the humans and the closest to the creator. The main function of this leader will be build a system where everyone can unlock own potential and fully realize themselves. Uplift people to his level of development. Keep stability of the system and control out of demon hands. In sum, only through harmonic development on the earth the universe will open its doors to humanity. The leader can be chosen by the combination of the best fair principles.
In ancient China, I said in ancient China, but it is not correct to say, because there were a lot of different ancient Chinas.
So, in some periods of Chinese history, people who claimed to occupy the position of a high government official had to pass 2 exams.
You will never guess what ones, or maybe will guess, but I did not what were the exams. First, calligraphy, not because he wrote by himself, there were many people who would write instead of him. But he should be able, because this is his skill, it is this ability. It is not the fact that his hand leads, but in this moment his head leads. It is the same zone, among other things, as the speech. It is the same brain area. It was the first exam. And the second exam, you also will like it, was a versification. China is a wise civilization, because they understood a different type of consciousness, a different type of skill. The computer does not write poems. It can write Rose Mimosa, but it is not capable to write as Brodsky. Because it is a different type of mentality, it is very important. Not because it is art, but because it is another type, which no one knows on the planet except us.
Now we will see the structure of democratic federal politic systems in such developed countries as the USA and Australia. Officially, the power divided into 3 branches: executive, legislative and judicial. On executive level are located a president or prime minister and a cabinet of department secretaries or of government ministers. On legislative level is located in the USA Congress, and in Australia, Parliament. Beside establishing new laws to maintain the slavery system, these people play a role that they have an influence on a decision of their president in the USA, prime minister in Australia, accordingly. And, finally, the Supreme Court in the USA and the High Court in Australia represent the judiciary level. On this level, judges blindly obey already written for them from the upper level instructions. Despite the alleged division of power into 3 levels, someone definitely manages and control all these branches. Otherwise, this structure seems unworkable. In case of Australia, this administrator is publicly available, the Queen of England. Moreover, she also officially has a superior power over United Kingdom, Canada, New Zealand, Jamaica, Barbados, the Bahamas, Grenada, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Tuvalu, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Belize, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Kitts and Nevis. According to the above-mentioned information of Her Majesty's control, and by following the logic that America has the same structure of management, it could be prudent to guess that the England's Queen has a power over the USA as well. What does this diagram really show? It visualizes that all these democratic elections is nothing more than a farce, when a right of choice goes from top to down level. This is why, to manage you more effectively, they conduct secret, means against you, meetings that, of course, are not for public scrutiny. Now, I think, you got the idea of the source of all human-made suffering in the world. Further, I would like to demonstrate you an apparent inability to use the current democratic system. 1. Let's say we are going to choose a global leader. 2. Roughly, the total population consists from 7.5 billion people. If every 100th of these people decide to be a leader, then we will get 75 million potential candidates. 3. So, in case, if before voting you will organize an interview with every candidate, and on average will spend 5 minutes for a candidate, then you have to spend 60 years of your life to interview 1,440,000 people. 4. It means that you have spent all your life and interviewed only 1.92% of all potential candidates. As it's seen, it is practically impossible to check personally every candidate. 5. Since there is no universal test to find the best leader, these demonic puppeteers force you to play in a hoax democracy or republic meritocracy, when you as a sheep vote for someone whom you have never met in your life. I would like to propose an alternative to the slavery system and show you how we can choose a best person. Elections will represent a kind of mixed multi-level indirect voting system, based on the principles of electocracy, meritocracy, and newcracy, a pure presidential system and elective monarchy. 1. The process of selection begins from the bottom, where a right of voice have only capable to work people, and by choosing on every level 1 out of 10 the most suitable candidates, the best person will come to the top. 2. From the level 6, where starts a municipal governance, every candidate should be checked as a human. For him the power to govern, expand own personal capacity while helping others to grow should be an intrinsic motivation force, rather than means of enrichment. 3. As a result, we will get a global leader with also best fitted for each level people. Ideally, from 1 to 6 level will be people only with human psychodynamics. From 7 to 9 half humans and half demons. On 10 level zombies, and on 11 level, the rest of population consisted from not working people. As you see, this structure also represents a hierarchical pyramid. However, the power of choice to elect the best candidate goes from the bottom to the top level, rather than imposed by the demonic elite above. I have also depicted for every level a portrait of a potential candidate. Now I would like to demonstrate you a practical example of elections. 1. For instance, in Area A, multi-store building, live 500 ordinary people. One day they had organized a meeting and found that according to their experience they have. 2. Further goes a survey of potential candidates that relate to level 6 and above. Do you want to be elected? 3. At this stage people on 7 and 8 levels check every individual on top and decide by voting human or not. Keep in mind that people on levels 9 to 11 do not participate in this process, because they mostly consist from animals, zombies, and demons. 4. Those who passed a human check have a meeting and decide who is the best of us. After that they offer 1 out of 10 best candidates among them. 5. Simultaneously, in the next to it Area B, 4-story apartment building, live 100 wealthier people. They also had done the same process and received. 6. By combining people from both areas and again using the same best 1 out of 10 principle, we are getting the list of potential candidates in the territory of with 600 population. 7. For instance, in Area C and D live people who also decided to nominate their candidates and received. 8. Combination of Area A and Area CD gives us the list of potential candidates in the territory ABCD with 1,400 people. 9. Further, we will keep combining territories of and choose 1 out of 10 best candidates until the amount of population in the area reach for the 6 local level, councillor 100,000. 5 national level, city lord mayors 1 million. 4 parliament or congress 10 million. 3 cabinet of ministers or department secretaries 100 million. 2 head of the continent or combined nations 1 billion. After that we have an ideal society system with 9 heads of the continents or combined nations and 1 global leader, elected by us from the bottom level. In addition, by combining people we simultaneously resolve territorial conflicts. At the end of the day we will have 1 global system. The question is only, will it be a microchip slavery singularity controlled by a current demonic elite, or an interconnected network with mutual cooperation governed by humans and for humans? Your current actions determine the future of your children, think about it.